was that? A Berserker. She can hear us. She can smell us.
Hello and welcome to Level Headed, a series where I intend to look at gaming's most famous and infamous levels in order to see what gameplay and level design elements make them so effective or ineffective. Seeing as this is the first episode in what I hope to be a long-running series, I'm going to explore one of my favourite games of all time, Gears of War, specifically its first Berserker encounter at the end of Act 1. Now, Gears of War has an extremely simple gameplay loop. You walk into an area, are ambushed by enemies, either hidden behind cover or spawning in from an emergence hole in the ground, get into cover yourself, kill them all, move on to the next area, and repeat. However, despite the simplicity of this gameplay loop, it has remained extremely satisfying throughout the series' 4 main installments, plus a spin-off and a remake. This is thanks to very meaty gunplay, great cover-based combat, a wide sandbox of amusing and gratifying weaponry, and enemy AI which isn't quite as dumb as a pile of bricks. Most of the time. The folks over at Epic clearly knew they'd struck gold with the core loop of Gears of War, but they were also smart enough to know that it would get old after a while. A 6 to 10 hour experience spent doing nothing but mercilessly mowing down wave after wave of monsters does eventually lose its appeal, which is a common issue in shooters, and is notable in the likes of 2016's Doom. The way most games break up combat is through either a hub zone, which acts as a place to unwind between missions while immersing yourself in the game's world and the characters within it.
One more thing. It's quite critical.
What?
Through walking simulator sections, which usually space out 2 separate combat arenas by making the player slow down while listening to either deep or amusing character interactions. I've always found these solutions to come across as rather disjointed, especially in high-octane shooters, and although Gears of War does suffer from use of the latter, I think to hide load times more than anything, they also added an enemy which removes the monotony of endless shooting quite ingeniously. Enter China Shop, the 8th and final level of Gears of War's first act, as well as home to the Berserker. The Berserker is frankly an ingenious enemy, designed to completely change any player's gameplay style. This hulking beast is completely immune to bullets, meaning shooting at her just pisses her off. She doesn't use cover and is always on the move, meaning you have to be as well. Plus, she frequently charges at a player with enough force to destroy any cover and kill a player in 1 or 2 hits, meaning cover is now doubly useless. Everything about how the Berserker plays forces the player to completely abandon everything they've learned about Gears of War's combat over the previous 7 levels, effectively shaking up the gameplay loop by removing it completely and creating an entirely new one where players have to duck and weave in their clunky armour, both avoiding the Berserker and luring her outside, where you were informed at the start of the level the Berserker would be killed by a satellite laser targeting system, the Hammer of Dawn, which was revealed to be a very satisfyingly destructive weapon in the previous few levels of the game. Now let's talk about how the level design of China Shop helps to assist this new style of gameplay. Most combat sections in Gears of War are set in pretty vast arenas, filled with implausible sets of waist-high walls for both the player and the enemy AI to use as cover. Pretty standard map design for a third-person shooter. The Mausoleum in China Shop, however, is made up of a series of 3 rooms, all blocked by large and imposing doors. The dark and dank locale of the Mausoleum itself makes it clear to the player they can't use the Hammer of Dawn yet, and need to get the Berserker outside somehow. The doors appear to be impenetrable, but most players who will have tried to hide behind the large conspicuous pillars which line either side of the first chamber quickly learn that Berserker doesn't know what the word impenetrable means. Now suddenly, the gameplay of Gears of War has shifted from a third-person shooter to a high-stakes horror-themed puzzle game where you have to figure out the best angles to lure the Berserker to charge through each of the room's locked doors in order to lead her outside without also getting trampled yourself in the process. As you figure out the optimal path through each room and successfully avoid the monster's deadly attacks, the game almost feels like an M-rated version of a dungeon from Legend of Zelda, wherein you use the enemy AI and the environment around you to solve the puzzle itself. I find this sudden shift in gameplay to be incredibly invigorating, as it gives the player a rest from the cover-based shooting they'll have been performing for the past hour or so, while actually raising the stakes through a fast-paced boss fight instead of killing the momentum entirely through a long walking section or hub area. Throw in the additions of a timer, which raises the stakes further, albeit artificially. You're going to get outside long before it runs out. And the previously talked about AI of the Berserker herself, and Gears of War almost becomes an entirely separate game, even if it is just for 10 minutes. The level is finished off by a purely cathartic battle, in which you are finally allowed to use the full force of the Hammer of Dawn to just tear apart this creature, which has been such a persistent threat in the previous rooms. This is an excellent and instantaneous reward for solving the puzzle of the Mausoleum, which I think further helps in making this break from the game's standard gameplay elements be such a warm welcome. After China Shop, Gears of War soon jumps back to the standard cover-based shooting, but admittedly with a few other new mechanics to keep momentum going, most notably vehicle sections and the introduction of the grill, which is fantastic in its own right. However, I think the Berserker fight in China Shop, as well as the two later fights, which both feature puzzles which build on the already established mechanics of the Berserker and offer different solutions to the first fight, do the best job of shaking up Gears of War's gameplay, offering a variety of new mechanics which change the pace and genre, and a map which is perfectly suited to testing out said mechanics, making China Shop from Gears of War a truly incredible level.
Report. We're here with Alpha, and we have the resonator. Very good. Stand by for new orders.
Hey guys and girls, thank you so much for watching the very first episode of Level Headed. I really hope to turn this to a series, so please comment any constructive criticism you have, any ideas on how to improve the series. It'd be really good for me to know. I really want to keep this going, and I want it to keep getting better and better with every episode. If you did like the video, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe if you want to see what else is coming up, and comment any other levels you suggest I should check out. Preferably things you can play on the Xbox, but I'm good for anything really. Thank you again for watching, and goodbye. I'll see you next time.
Smart guy a promotion? No, give it to a jackass instead.
So we gotta hump this to the factory, or what?
Nah, screw that. I got an idea.
Oh yeah? What is it, smart guy? Enough. Let's move.